Welcome back. Thanks for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's talk a little bit about that Fever Sun meltdown, disaster, among other words, whatever you want to call it. All right, we've got a lot of problems with this team. They look disorganized. They look disinterested. Kelsey Mitchell she is a cancer on that team. She has got to go. Kelsey Mitchell is all about Kelsey Mitchell and no one else. And it completely destroys, not that they're running an offense that we see, but if they were, it would completely destroy it. Boston, I believe, wasn't she rookie of the year last year? She plays like she has concrete on her feet. She sets non-existent screens. I mean, there's no point even going out there and pretend like you're setting a screen because you're not. There's no offense that's being run. There's no ball movement. There's no movement off the ball. Look, Christy Sides is clearly in over her head. She's lost the locker room. She created another firestorm last night with her comments about coaching effort. And here's the thing, and this is where I feel it's just gotten so bad and where she's created so many missteps that she's always going to get pushed back. Even at those times, she has a point because you can't coach effort. And there'll be people say that you can. And yes, I get it. You can influence a player's effort with your relationship with them. You can influence an environment around your team that helps with effort. As a youth coach, I've seen that with players where I've helped them become better at putting forth effort all the time because they would just have stretches when they aren't or they're not being aggressive enough. And yeah, a coach can absolutely influence that. But to be fair, that's all they can do. Ultimately, it's up to the player. And I think you see it. There's so much money in sports nowadays. I think you really see it in sports like the NFL and the NBA. Those players aren't given 100% all the time. I mean, the NBA is well, I love basketball, but I'm not all that impressed with how the NBA plays the game nowadays. I think there's a serious lack of effort among a lot of the players. I don't think any of them play all that hard on defense. But my point being, and those coaches have no say. The players have all the leverage with the with the kind of money that they're making. So I kind of see Christy Side's point. Unfortunately, with the situation she's in, it was probably a mistake for her to come out and say that. I think it might have come across better in more of a rant if she had also put responsibility on herself as well. She, it's funny, I talk all the time about how she's been throwing Caitlin under the bus, but last night she probably could have, if done the right way, thrown her team under the bus because sometimes teams do need that. They need a coach that's going to call them out. Most of the time, it should be done in the locker room, but if you really know what you're doing once in a while, you do it out in public, and that wakes up our team. Unfortunately, I don't think the whole dynamic surrounding this team is going to be affected in the right way by how she handled this. But I'm not going to fault her for the effort issue about you can't coach effort because she has a point with that. She's got a lot. She's making a lot of mistakes, and I think she ought to get fired. But I'm not going to savage her for that. We've got the idiocy of Carrington. So, and this one play that's probably getting a lot of play out there with her nonsense after she was called for a foul. So let's take a look at this real quick. Right, Caitlin comes off the pick to receive the ball.
To come down and collapse leads to open free opportunities.
Bark nudged by Carrington. Carrington
Now, if you can, first of all, it wasn't much of a foul, but I, yeah, I could see how it was a foul. You come out, little hip check. But two, obviously, you see Carrington with her spasms mocking Caitlin for flopping. But let's run that back one more time.
Collapse leads to open three opportunities.
Caitlin never stopped playing. There was no flop at all. The hip into her hip moved her, but she played right through it, which just makes Carrington look like even more of an idiot than she already looked. And I don't know. I'm going to tune this up. I don't really have the sound on. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but see you if you were watching, you heard it. But see if you can hear the crowd after this.
Bark nudged by Carrington. Carrington believes there's some.
You hear those boos? She got booed for that. Now, some people will say, oh no, the fans looked at the replay and they were booing the flop. Well, as you saw, there was no flop. I mean, Caitlin never even stopped playing. On top of that, later on, for those of you that are watching, you will have also noticed that the fans, even though this is played in Connecticut, this is a away game for the Fever, the fans were chanting for Caitlin to be put back in the game because she was benched for most of the second half. You know, now you got people out there about, oh, terrible game. She only had 10 points. Yeah, she had all 10 points in the first half and then she didn't play. Well, she came out a little bit in the third, but she sat most of the second half. And then the other thing is what's really funny about that is, especially for the people who talk about, oh, it's such a physical league and it's physical and it's physical and it's physical. Watch this. This was a charge call. I think this is the Mystics game. This was called a charge against Caitlin Clark. Yep, we'll watch that one more time. That was called a charge. I don't see that player being called out for flopping. And by the way, I wouldn't call it on the defender either. I think that was an absolutely nothing. But don't give me this stuff about how physical the league is in defending that hit by Carter, and then that gets called. Ah, come on now. But why was there no technical for Carrington? Why would she not get a technical for that behavior right in front of the referee? I mean, that's the type of stuff that gets teed up right away. Like if she had said something to the referee without acting out physically, nine times out of 10, it's let go. But that nonsense, that's showing up the referee and everybody can see it. I mean, let's face it, she was probably doing it to show up Caitlin, even though there was no flop as we saw. But yeah, that stuff's got to stop. But Indiana needs to clean house. I mean, the Fever, I don't even know if the Fever recognizes what it's doing too. It's not just the WNBA, but people are starting to get tired of having to support the Fever in order to support Caitlin Clark. It's a bad team. It's a really bad team. And I realize that they can't overhaul an entire roster in the middle of the season, but they can get rid of Christy Sides. And I think right now, whoever has the power for it to do it needs to get on the phone right now and call Larry Bird and see what he's doing. The hick from French Lick, one of the greatest players of all time, fantastic head coach, fantastic GM. Bring him in as the head coach of the Indiana Fever, give him all the power he wants, completely change the culture of the team. He'll be respected. They're not going to give him crap. He will change if there is an effort problem, he'll change it. He'll change the atrocious defense that this team plays, if that's what you can call it. There will be an offense that gets run. Teammates will act like teammates and support one another, or they'll be gone. Uh, but yeah, that's my big wish list thing. We all know it's not going to happen, but hey, even if it's not Larry Bird, they need to get rid of Christie Sides and bring somebody in that would have a positive impact on the culture of the team, the environment of the team, the way the players act and interact, fixing Mitchell's play and the entire team's attitude with regard to Caitlin Clark. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below about the game, about the state of the Indiana Fever, whether or not you think they're going to make any changes. Are they going to get rid of Christie Sides? What do you think about bringing in Larry Bird? If Larry would do it, I don't know. But hey, call the guy. I don't think he's doing anything right now except enjoying his retirement. He might want a little change of scenery, a little change of pace. But if you're enjoying these videos, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're hating them, as I can tell in some of the comments, that's cool too. Thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate it. And I will talk to you